Hi, my name's Cream. Or should I say, Scream? Alright, I'll stop. Halloween has always been the best time of year to play video games. It gives developers much more creative freedoms to stray away from the usual repetitive gameplay loop and make some truly unique events for us to enjoy. It seems that every year a few games absolutely nail this, practically forcing me to play their spooky new events, whilst others are Overwatch. That's a bad thing. So stick around for this spooky tale as I tell you the good and the bad about Halloween in video games. Now, I might be a little biased towards this first game, but I genuinely think that Team Fortress 2 is a great example of how Halloween should be done. It's one of the OGs when it comes to hosting spooky events, having had its very first terrifying Team Fortress Haunted Halloween special all the way back in 2009. They worked on the name. It included a brand new map, Halloween-themed achievements, hats, and some juicy lore. Now, unfortunately, I was too busy playing more important games to be there for it. Woo! Yeah! So you just have to experience it with me through this old video from 11 years ago. Look at this, they can't get enough of it. And this was just the beginning. As each year passed, we got more and more spooky goodness. Magic spells you can cast at other players. Curses that'll trigger whenever a point is capped. New boss fights, each one different from the other. It was truly ahead of its time. And clearly not worth mine. Now in 2021, we might not get as much attention from Valve as we used to, but that doesn't stop the community from lifting them up on their shoulders and creating some of my all-time favorite maps. First up, you have Cursed Cove, where your goal is to take the souls of your fallen enemies and dispose of them to the deck of the Flying Dutchman. Games in this map are especially hectic, usually ending with both teams fighting to the last soul. You have Laughter, a spookily decorated amusement park featuring an otherworldly funhouse that rewards the player with crits and invulnerability for making it to the end. Whether it was intended or not, you can pull off some pretty unfair stuff on this map. The thing that not just these maps, but all Halloween maps have in common, is that they allow for gameplay that you wouldn't normally see in Team Fortress 2. It has all these different elements to create an entirely different experience while still keeping the core gameplay. But if there's one feature that I could not go without, then it's got to be Getting a kill with one of these things grants the same dopamine hit as nearly 2 clean meat shots with just a fraction of the effort. And while pumpkin bombs might look a little unfair, if you know where they are on each map, they can be pretty balanced. They allow both players an equal chance to either disarm it before they get to the fight, or use it to their advantage to deal massive damage. Or do that, I guess. Not to mention, if you're playing the right class, you can even use them to soar across the map. So whether you're cosplaying an airplane or fighting over inheritance, there's always a reason to come back for their annual Scream Fortress. Which is pretty hard to say for some other games. Overwatch's ᵗᵒᵒ is a fun and refreshing co-op PvE experience that brings some much needed excitement back into the game. Is what I would say if it was still 2016. Despite being out for over 5 years now, Overwatch still decides to recycle the same Halloween event every year. For those of you who somehow haven't played this yet, here's a quick rundown. There's a castle gate, there's zombies, and at set points some bosses will spawn. Your goal is to work together with your 3 teammates to stop them from breaking down the gate and entering the castle. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad event. I actually really liked it when it first came out. The tower defense style of gameplay was a nice change of pace, and the differing levels of difficulties allowed for a tough yet rewarding grind. In 2017, they added a new endless mode, which also included the addition of 4 new playable characters. But as each Halloween passed, it quickly lost its charm. I really would have liked to see another Halloween mode on the spooky Hollywood reskin. Maybe the cinema has been cursed by a ghoul and brought all the movies to life. This could lead our heroes having to defend the fleeing directors from their very own creations. But I'm not going to get my hopes up. This is Overwatch we're talking about. They attempted to revive it in 2020 with the addition of challenge missions, but at that point I'd already lost interest. And unfortunately, this year's no different. We get the same mode, 2 more challenge missions, and some Halloween skins. And while shiny new skins might be enough for some people, I like to think I'm a little more sophisticated than— oh my god, that's so nice! And it's free? How do I get it? 9, 18, 27 games. 27 games?! I mean, the skin's cool, but you'd have to be literally insane to put yourself through 27 games of Overwatch just to get, what, one skin? Look, jokes aside, while ᵗᵒⁿᵗ has its issues, if you haven't played it before, it's definitely worth giving a shot. Let's just hope that Overwatch 2 is worth waiting for. And who knows, maybe we might be lucky enough to get a spooky new Halloween event. But we're just gonna have to wait and see.
It keeps going and going and going. It'll never end.
If you played during the 2018 ⵗᵗ, you know that people didn't particularly like the cube monsters a whole lot. I mean, who would have thought that adding randomly spawning relentless hordes of zombies to a PvP Battle Royale game would be a bad idea? Apparently the whole player base. So much so they had to nerf them the day after they released them. But it was their first proper attempt at it, so we'll let it slide. 2019 rolls around and they want to try something new. You get a chance to fight a boss called the Storm King. This mode had players work together to defeat this beast by destroying all its weak points whilst also fending off smaller enemies, dodging attacks and reviving down teammates. Aside from a few hiccups at launch, this event was really well done. It was the perfect combination of Fortnite's lore and engaging gameplay to create a very entertaining game mode. Even though it was practically copy-pasted from Save the World to Battle Royale, it was still great to be able to experience a fight without having to grind to the end of the game. 2020 arrives, and although I didn't play during ⵗᵗ's Revenge, as far as I can tell they just copied Apex's homework and put their own name on it. And while I'd love to say more about it, the extent of my knowledge is one lucky video and a few articles, so I'll be tapping out of this one. Now on something I have played. 2021's Halloween event is a concoction made up of all the previous year's ⵗᵗ brewed into one perfect event. Here's what I mean. This Halloween introduced the sideways anomalies. Think of them as better versions of the 2018 obelisks. These domes can only spawn 4 times a match, are clearly shown on the map, and act as a cage for the cube monsters, completely removing the RNG of having to fight people and a zombie horde at the same time. Another great addition is the Caretaker Boss, a new optional enemy that spawns every match and can be provoked if you wish to fight it.
I see him! Come here, you fat fuck!
Ah, what the fuck? It shares a few similar qualities with the Storm King and even has a similar laser attack and distinct weak point. My guess is that they realized how successful the Storm King LTM was and decided to sprinkle a bit of that magic into the main game modes. There's a bunch of other stuff they added this Halloween, but they didn't really seem worth dedicating a full segment to each one, so I figured I'd at least acknowledge them now in a speed round fashion. Alright, number 1, you got the Cube Queen. She's not doing a whole lot. Based on previous events, she'll probably explode or something. Alright, number 2, you got the new landmark. In my opinion, big L. Not enough materials, and again, knowing Fortnite, will probably explode. Number 3, you got the Sideways Scythe. Feels sick to use, great for fighting zombies, awful against players. If you thought this was going to be another Infinity Blade incident, then you were sorely mistaken. Finally, number 4, the Witch's Broom. Going from 2020, still the best movement item in the game, literally just a jump pad on cooldown. The thing that makes ⵗᵗ different from other games is that instead of expanding on the same event by changing or adding a few things, they create a brand new experience for us to play. That's not to say that the first method's a bad way to do it, but I like the idea of coming back to the game and not knowing what to expect. And obviously they won't be able to keep it up forever, but in the meantime, I look forward to see what surprises we get next ⵗᵗ. And that goes for all games. As long as you're playing during the spooky season, then you know that there will always be something new and exciting to play. But whether or not you like Halloween events, I hope you enjoyed the video. I wish I had time to talk about more games, but I kind of bit off more than I could chew with this one. Next video should be out in a few weeks, so subscribe for that. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.